Welcome, everybody, to Can't Draw Horses Club, brought to you today by the fierce will to survive, the eye of the tiger.
Step up to the moment of your rivals? No.
Yeah,
Something.
I'm Cori,
I'm Cameron.
and we have Paul on tech, and we do have you to thank for this, because you give us the monies at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and here on twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, and sometimes on the YouTubes by becoming a member of one of our many YouTubers channels. Our Magic the Gathering channel recently crossed 100,000 subscribers, which is a big thing, and we could get a second play button.
Yeah. We get a plaque.
I think we have to buy them.
Really? They make you buy your own plaque?
Yeah.
That is
They don't just
That's
give it
about
to you
right,
now. You
actually.
have to, apply.
right.
What else? Today we're painting little mans. I'm painting one of Cameron's bonus mans. Is this Felgor goat warrior, right? That's Felgor's?
Felgor
No,
Ravagers.
I'm obscuring for a big reveal.
Okay.
Oh no, they can already see how pretty it is.
It's
So
okay.
I've got this fresh man, and Cameron has been working on these other mans.
Yeah, my Eldar Corsairs, my Void-Scarred Corsairs, which I think I have kind of finished, but I really am not happy with how their sword blades look. Like, they got this kind of like green-purple tint to them, but I don't think it's
You don't want the
actually
purple?
coming through.
Oh, you want to push the perps?
I think there is a piece of Harlequin art from Warhammer 40k,
Okay.
where it's like the troop leader, and he's holding a sword, and the sword is it goes from like black to white, right? It's unclear what color it is, but it's not metallic. It's like this, it's wraithbone or some kind of crystalline material that goes through like the full value of black to white, and not just as kind of like a highlight layer. So I think I want to try that because I think that might look cool for these guys.
Instead of just doing the metallic or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Looking good. Is that guy? So this is. You said this is complete.
Yeah, I would play with this, but I'm also not super happy with his burb.
Oh, more purple in the burb?
More maybe I don't know. Like it just. I spent a lot of time getting these things kind of like highlighted,
Right.
and it just is not coming through.
Ah.
Yeah. Like I felt it looked okay at home under my lamp, and then as soon as I get it out from under my like broad spectrum painting lamp, it's
Right.
like there's nothing here.
Maybe underlight? Maybe some bounce?
Maybe I will figure something out.
I like how the feathers play in the light. Like, that looks natural.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be more so,
Yeah, just kind of the form disappears. There's less contrast than maybe you want.
Yes, yeah. And like the concept with these guys was that they were, these are Eldar, they're elven space pirates. And so since they're supposed to kind of like do boarding actions and
Yeah.
spend a lot of their time in space, I wanted to paint them up as like astronauts. Kind of, like with white armor. And then like these golden colored cloaks, because you frequently see astronauts with like, the heat shielding on a spacecraft, of like Apollo era. NASA is, like this gold kind of shimmering material.
I like the texture on his cloak. Is that part of the model, or is that something that
Yeah, it's part of the model.
But that is super neat to have that kind of. It's almost like it's woven or something.
It's supposed to be like a beast skin, right? It's got like the ribs down, or the spine down the back.
Right, yeah.
So
Oh, it's like their scales.
yes, yeah. And then there are ones where it's like cloth.
Oh, I see.
But there's
Ooh, I like that. That cape is very nice. Ooh, I see.
there's one where it's stitched together,
You
and then
think
there's one where it's more like scaly.
I think Eldar would be better at sewing.
I mean, these Eldar come from all walks of life, right?
Yeah.
Like some of them are craft world Eldar, who are like, the more traditional idea of elves. Some of them are dark Eldar, who come from their hidden city of Komora in the Webway, where they are just immortal dirtbags. Basically,
Some of
like,
them are so into history that they form a rambling theater troupe and go and kick people's ass while recreating battles of the past.
yeah. So like basically, Corsairs are what Eldar do on gap years.
So my little man's has a loincloth that I will be adding. So
Yeah, I didn't attach it because I wanted Cori to be able to paint like the obverse of it.
We're seeing him now without his loincloth.
yeah, that's what he's got going on under there. Just in case you wanted to guess the color of his underwear. I have certain colors. Can someone in chat? Okay, there's sheep that are red that have like white faces. And I was thinking of that kind of color combination, but I need to see a picture. And we're at the office right now, so we have the auto expanding image thing. So just a couple of you, could you find me pictures of sheep?
So
I could ask my partner because she is a farmer who has sheep about what kind of sheep that would be.
They have Google.
Oh, clown sheep.
That doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
Just because, so this guy's got kind of like a bear goat face, but I want to use like animal colors instead of like going to like a human flesh. I want like that short cropped like sheep face. But anyways, yes, thank you.
Now,
That's better.
Cameron, is this a kill team?
It
The-
is.
The
It is.
Corsairs?
Yes. They are, what are they? The Void-Scarred Corsairs. So like I tried to do the shimmer on the
Oh, I can see, yeah,
feathers,
on the
but
feathers, yeah.
it's just not enough, right?
I mean, to me, that one really comes across. Maybe more so than like the raven on the other one, but the feathers really come across in that one.
I think the thing with miniature painting is that you want things that will be visible from like a meter away without much effort, right? Like you can do a lot of like fine detail for your own satisfaction, but if it doesn't turn up, or if it's not visible to an opponent who's just like maybe facing you for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
then it's there for your sake, but not really for anyone else's.
Yeah, you definitely. There's a difference between stuff that will look good on the table, and stuff that you really want to go in on with the microscope or whatever.
Yes. So I'm just going to like.
And I guess that's sort of part of the same thing with like the whatever heroic scale that.
Yeah.
That Warhammer does things with like bigger hands and feet and.
Yes, yeah, like bigger guns, basically, is the takeaway from heroic scale. They want things to be legible at tabletop, right? Like, what weapon is this guy carrying is a question that needs to be answered at a glance.
I would also like to introduce chat to another member of our stream. Hashtag not sponsored because the label's on the front, but I've got this agitator.
Cool. Feeling agitated?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's fun to just. Yeah.
Oh, you can see it
Yeah, exactly.
processing.
Told you the top-down shot was better.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Look away, children.
I'm just imagining the paint pots just be going like, oh yeah, that's the spot.
Well, some of these have, these ones have a marble inside.
Oh, okay.
So once that gets free of being like stuck to the side, it's just like,
Huh.
I'm not gonna make that sound again.
I should probably have brought in some of my paints with a bead.
All right, so I'm gonna try oxide brown light, yellow oxide, and the white for sheep man.
Have you actually used that a fair amount already in terms of, like, does it actually work well for mixing up the paints?
Yeah, I went through this whole box
Ooh, nice.
immediately, and then we went through all of the back storage stuff, and then other things around the house.
Yes, I think it's probably one of those things like a sonicator where when you get it, you're like, what else needs to be agitated around here?
We use that sucker all the time because we have things that need to be cleaned in alcohol. And what you do is we fill the little water bath and then put a smaller glass, like a
Okay.
like a whiskey glass
Yeah,
in there.
full of isopropyl.
Exactly. And then we just put the little bits in there because they don't need to go on like a long journey.
Right.
And we don't want to use a lot of alcohol to fill the bath.
Yeah.
But it still agitates the stuff that's in the cup really well.
That sounds
And
clever.
then you just like push the time and walk away.
I had like an immersion sonicator, but it broke. Unfortunately. The motor would turn on, but nothing would happen. So I unplugged it.
And then what happened?
Well, something was happening, just not the thing that was supposed to be happening.
Yeah. Electrons were becoming agitated, but not
You were becoming agitated.
Yes.
I mean, have you put it like a can of Coke on it?
No.
Just shake it up real good.
Kind of want to now, though.
We did try to figure out a way to like put larger and larger things on it, like a pickle jar kind of size. It's not that strong.
Alas.
But yeah, you can put all sorts of things like a stick in there to to extend the agitation.
You can just put a stick in there.
Just put a stick in there.
Yeah, sure. What do you want to get vibed, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. Just dumped this pile of brushes without really thinking about what kind of size I want.
Oh.
Yeah, good old number 1.
I think I need to get a number 2 brush. Although I've heard Kolinsky Sable is no longer what it once was. So I need to find a new source of new company that's willing to torture tiny animals for the sake of my paintbrushes.
Are you maybe that's a rumor started by the tiny creatures.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, they're not as good anymore. Synthetic is the way to go now.
They've stopped doing torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that probably not the tiny animals posting that.
I mean, like, I think the source of most sables was Russia, actually.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I have a bunch of, like, these are all Winsor Newton brushes, which are very nice. But I've heard the new ones are not so good. Is sable horsehair or a different? It's from Sables. It's from Martin's.
Yeah, they're like an ermine, but
Yeah,
you know,
they're
they're
a-
like a little ferret.
They're a mustelid.
Yeah. It's always a turning point for an animal when the animal itself becomes more associated with, like the name becomes more associated with just something that people get from the animal,
Yep.
as
Yes.
opposed to the animal itself. Like, oh no.
You're a brand now. Is it for something cute? No.
No, it's human anatomy. What?
Mink oil. Yep.
Oh,
Made from mink.
Oh man.
The oiliest of mink. They get a bunch of mink and make sure they don't shower for like a really long time.
that's
It's
a good,
just kinda like-
good goose, Iris.
Ooh. Yeah, excellent goose, Iris. Yeah, it's just like they find it's like Brill cream from ferrets.
Castor oil from beavers. It's literally their name.
Where on beavers? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, where in the mink do you put the oil? No, that's not how it works.
I mean, not all rodents keep it in the butt.
No. Just most. I think.
Capybaras get one on top of their nose.
Oh, that's adorable. I choose to believe.
It's how you can sex them.
Oh.
At least one of the ways. Because they get kind of a hump on the nose. So
That's obscene.
yeah. Has your partner had to squeeze any baby chickens?
No, she has an incubator. She was telling me that, like, apparently, baby chickens are sexed entirely on vibes
Pretty much.
by, like, experts.
Yeah.
Like, you just work in this, like, in the chicken factory for a while and you're able to be like, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. And apparently they're like 97% correct.
But they
But-
can't actually tell anybody how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they squeeze them so that they can like express or like prolapse slightly. Like I've seen footage, but yeah, it is vibes. But they just pop them into a bucket.
Iris Vither has a bunch of metal capybara minis.
Uh-huh.
They're around painting. Is that also from a kill team?
It could be.
I do kind of like that. I don't know. I feel like there's been a bit of a, meme of capybaras in the last year or two, and you know what? I am very happy to be pandered to in this way.
Uh-huh.
I feel largely the same way about possums.
Oh, yeah.
They just always look like they're having either the worst day of their life or are completely delighted by something.
It's like just the size of their eyes
Yeah.
and the roundness of like their whole face.
Yeah.
Like they don't have like a sharp, dangerous snoot. They just have like a what?
Possums are one of those things they can go like they can be adorable and then go from adorable to like horrifying very quickly.
But it's always like this kind of endearing kind of horrifying, where they look upset as well.
It's like, yeah, either the possum is having a bad day or it's having a good day, but that might mean that you're having a very bad day.
Yeah, what's wrong, buddy? Oh, all the wiring in the wall just wasn't very good. I finally dug through all the hardwood floors and found that there was just nothing under on the other side.
Mm. Do you have like a favorite named possum?
I like the one who was getting weighed in a bucket labeled Penelope. There's a photo of a possum being weighed, and she has her own bucket, and it's covered with stickers. and one of the stickers just reads Penelope.
So either that's Penelope the possum, or that possum stole Penelope's bucket.
Yeah, or maybe the bucket's named Penelope. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to use Penelope for this one. Have you worked in a place where there's a name for a piece of equipment?
Yeah. Wait, have I? I'm sure I have.
Like I know people like name vent hoods and stuff, so maybe that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that's the one, Rock Pusher.
Hey, right? Look at that little round face.
Yeah. And the dark eyes.
They're huge.
Yeah.
I also like, the bucket reminds me of that the most efficient way to carry and handle a large number of baby sloths is to put them in a bucket. So they just like hang around the inside of the bucket.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched a video yesterday of a man with a baby sloth attached to a stuffed animal, and he's like masked and wearing scrubs, and he's taking the sloth out to go spend some time in the sun on a tree.
Oh.
And so it's just talking about the sloth.
They had to get the sloth on wire, Mother?
Well, it's like it's not a Pokemon. It's just
Oh, okay.
it's I don't even know if it's branded, but it's like a friendly animal.
They just need something to hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically, sloths are essentially incapable of not hugging the thing in front of them. They're like, that's just how their arms and legs are formed, that they sort of automatically hug the thing in front of them.
Thank you, Rock Pusher, for posting the bucket full of sloths.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a hole in my sloth bucket.
Oh no.
My partner told me the story that her father told her about how when he was a kid, he wanted a pet possum.
Right.
And he was driving one day and saw a dead possum by the side of the road and was like, oh, if it had been live, I would go and pick it up. And then he just kept driving. And then stopped the car and was like, wait a second. And then like hit reverse, went back to pick it. But by the time he got back to it, it had gotten up and left.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that they're known for.
Yeah.
Too bad it was dead.
Getting outplayed by a possum has to feel like really embarrassing.
I mean, can you fault a possum for playing possum?
Not really. It's their nature. Lol. Lamau.
Fake possum fans.
That would be somewhat disconcerting if you were, if you had a possum as a pet or you were taking care of one.
Mm-hmm.
That They just sometimes die and then come back.
Yeah, they become startled. And are just like, nah, we're out. Like, is he okay? Yeah, probably.
Just
4 days
astral
later,
projecting.
it turns out he was in fact not okay and needed to be brought to a vet.
Yeah, well, that's the real trick, is that if them being totally fine and being actually in trouble looks exactly the same because they're so good at mimicry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is it Bizarre Beasts? It's like the DFTBA, like, here's some cool animals
Okay.
thing they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But they were talking about leaf insects, and that there is a problem where that they're too good at mimicry.
Right.
Uh-huh. Oh, so
Because-
sometimes they get eaten by, like, herbivores?
Sometimes they eat each other,
Oh, no.
because leaf insects often eat leaves. Like, dude, it's
Dude.
me. I'm not a leaf.
Why are you delicious?
Sounds like something a leaf would say. It's like, okay, the first time it happened, that was a mistake. But
Yeah, now I think you're just a cannibal because
Yeah.
you like it.
Laserbeak's Fury has posted a tiny song titled Accidental Cannibal.
Adorable.
Yeah. Accidental Cannibal. My name is Accidental Cannibal. Right? That's how it would go.
Yep.
New
I
original.
don't remember that part. Yeah. It's a good one.
It's my, Hamilton AU.
Accidental cannibal. Implausible accidental cannibal. I guess that's kind of like the ultimate Obama era thing. Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, could be. I think, well, because of the places I go on the internet
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the people that are like adjacent, my view of all of that is probably not normal.
Yeah. One moment.
I did cause a noise complaint by yelling the songs one time
Nice.
on vacation.
Nice. I recently decided that, related, that Chapel Roan has the most dangerous vocal range, which is the one you think you can sing after 3 drinks at a karaoke bar.
Yeah, we had a discussion a little bit about that at the office, and so it was just like, thinking you can sing Chapel Roan songs, and I think the only one I haven't done is like Naked in Manhattan, because I've booked karaoke parties and subjected people to Chapel Roan and Harry Styles and LCD Sound System.
Nice, nice, nice.
What else? Sort of for the anniversary of my grandmother's death, Joy to the World, the Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog
He always had some very fine wine.
Exactly. I had to get a friend to film me singing that so I could send it to my mother because was partly the anniversary of Toothless Joy to the World, which was where my grandmother would take her false teeth out to sing Joy to the World, and everyone else would like sing along.
Legendary.
Yeah. It was just kind of the thing you'd do at the end of summer.
My favorite episode of X-Files
Really?
is the one where Mulder makes Scully sing to him as he dies of hypothermia.
Yeah. That's when X-Files is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Mulder's dying, is that?
Yeah. I
When
mean,
it's, about the connection and they do love each other, sure. But it's more just about them willing to do and put up with each other's stupid bullshit.
yes, yeah.
It's always about that. Not about their secret love child or whatever.
Yeah. It was, yeah, the relationship was at their strongest when they clearly respected each other, in spite of the fact that they didn't respect each other's opinion on things.
Yeah. Just like she's too narrow-minded and he's too open-minded. The end.
Yep.
They were roommates, but whatever.
How was Champagne Supernova at karaoke? Or not, Red
what
Wine
is that, Blink
Supernova.
182?
No,
Or
sorry, Red Wine Supernova.
Blur?
I think
still
Champagne
haven't- I
Supernova is
haven't-
Oasis.
I've never heard it. I only, this year, learned that that's a song.
Oh, okay.
So it's on my list to listen to. It's
Gotcha.
Oasis? Okay.
I just meant the Chapel Roan song.
It's fun.
Okay. It has like a fun call and response section, or it seems like it would.
And if you want to, you can belt at sections.
Nice.
I'm not really a belter. I don't have a lot of, usually enough breath control to do it. But I can hit, enough of the soprano bits.
Oh, no kidding.
Although my natural inclination is to goof instead of trying for real.
Gotcha.
So hitting it like a falsetto instead of actually singing or just making mouth noises. Making lots of whale noises during weird fishes is fun.
Oh.
Because there's, the oohs are there, and they take up a huge section of the song. But you can also just go in there and then, whoa! Ooh. Ooh. Which is, what I would do in Rock Band all the time.
In Rock Band, I just played maps. I drummed maps.
Well, you have to trigger the solo section vocal things for whatever the star power or superpower.
Oh, right, yeah.
That thing, yeah. So I would just do noises.
I knew a guy who was able to do sabotage in Rock Band by just holding a note because it couldn't, the sabotage thing. It
It's all
didn't-
vocal.
Yeah, it didn't know how to grade it.
That's why the hack was to just rub the microphone on your pants.
Ha.
Oh, and I did Black Star at Desert Bus.
Really?
Yeah,
You went full Bowie?
I did.
Amazing.
And the people in the room didn't know the song.
Oh no.
They did not know how long it was,
Uh-huh.
and they committed to doing the bit, and then didn't know that they could just leave.
Uh-huh.
And so they stood there with their eyes closed for just like
Well, like
5 minutes.
yeah.
But because I think it was Andre was on tech, there's a fast forward function kind of thing. That's a double time, like you can change the tempo. So it was just fast forward through the there it is.
Huh.
Because it's like 8 to 9 minutes,
Yeah,
9 minutes song.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad Bowie, Leonard Cohen, and David Lynch all got to go out on kind of like masterworks.
Yeah. Really appreciate that.
Although I guess David Lynch's was several years ago now with Twin Peaks:
I
The
would
Return.
call his social media posts pretty good.
Fair. Yeah.
I liked the weather.
A friend of mine sent me the video where he's making quinoa. And yeah, it looks good.
I still haven't watched Twin Peaks: The Return, but Ian and I just started season 2 of Twin Peaks.
Have you seen it before?
I've seen 3 seasons and Fire Walk with Me.
Okay, okay.
I just haven't watched The Return.
The album that Leonard Cohen's son, Adam, I think,
Oh.
put out. He put out an album of sort of the final. It was something that Leonard Cohen was working on in his last years, but he never finished, and so he got the file, the musical stuff that he was working on, and then got a bunch of people who had worked with Leonard Cohen in the past, and they kind of worked up what they thought his arrangements might have been.
Mm-hmm.
And they released it. It was released as an album. It's
What was it called? I hadn't heard about it.
quite neat. I'm trying to remember. Thanks for the dance. Yes, thank you, Rock Pusher.
Cool. I got to see what turned out to be his last show in Vancouver. Well, his last Vancouver show, not his last show ever. But it was good.
I guess I probably saw. I saw him in Victoria.
Oh.
Which I guess was also probably his last Victoria show, but not that he is like here a lot, but but yeah, it was really neat. He did like, I think the second half of the show was like half encore.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He just kept going off and coming back on, and people were he seemed to be just so happy to continue to play.
That's fun.
At a certain point, his band is probably like, okay, fun.
Yeah, we're getting paid for this,
Yeah.
or
Is this overtime? What's going on here? Yeah. But then the other thing I loved when seeing, the encores and stuff were great, but also it must have been cool to be in his band, because whenever people do a solo or people would do stuff,
oh yeah, he would shout you out.
well, he would call him up, but he would also like take his hat off and like look over at, like he would just be like completely,
Yeah, he would completely cede the stage to you.
yeah, giving them the sort of the focus of the attention. Is the guy with the raven the leader of the group?
No, he is like the scout.
I see.
This is the leader. If we...
Ooh. Oh man, he's even holding his gun sideways.
Yep.
That's how you know he's serious.
The Fellark. Vrum. I kind of appreciate how much contempt Games Workshop has for gun design. Just as like a studio. Because every once in a while, Americans will be like, well, that isn't a very realistic gun. You know, it would need to be smaller and...
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, that's not at all something we're interested in.
They've got a bit of that like Rob Liefeld action.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Rob, how many holes does a gun have in the front of it?
As many as I fucking feel like. Gonna add in another one right now. Thanks for that comment. You're right. This one didn't have enough.
Right, these are like, I don't know, laser gun? Are these laser guns? Or are these plasma guns? Or
Well, generally speaking, the Craft World Eldar have guns called shuriken catapults, which are guns that shoot ninja stars, Paul. Which is either... Your relationship with Warhammer 40k will be determined largely by whether you think that is the stupidest thing you've ever heard or the sickest thing that you've ever heard.
it can be two things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a fancy railgun that fires ninja stars.
Yeah.
I like the way you have a voice for like, I'm going to tell you something that I know a lot about, but I'm also slightly
Embarrassed to know a lot about. Yeah.
That's like I can tell your voice just by as you start the sentence. Ario Hydra says, how do you pick colors? Do you plan out how to paint which color beforehand, or?
Generally, it's a skill you develop after a while, where you just kind of get a sense for what colors are going to look good together. And, like, it takes a while. I still swing and miss quite a lot. Like, for example, last week I started work on a squad of Dire Avengers, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and as it turns out, just didn't pan out, so I'm going to need to strip them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Do you usually will start like we have like an inspirational, like a picture or a particular thing that you're like, I like this color scheme, I want to replicate it?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes you just see like, you know, an interesting rock, right? And think, why? Why a little man would look good if he was painted to look like this. Sometimes it's like you see an interesting piece of artwork or somebody else's work that you're like, oh, I could just rip this off fairly easily. And the frustrating part is that it is frequently difficult to know whether what you're doing is good or not until it's completely finished.
Yeah, it's one of those things for sure. It's definitely either trust the process or just go back to square one, really. Because, like, okay, so what is the process for stripping them?
Dunking them in Windex for me, because I use acrylic paint, and Windex won't really damage plastic.
Right. So that's like a mild ammonia solution, basically.
Yeah. You can also use purple stuff. I'm not sure what the brand name is. I just go to Canadian Tire and pick up a jug of it. But that's a bit nastier.
Windshield cleaner?
It's not windshield cleaner. It's like a light engine degreaser.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was great pop. I can see.
I mean,
why
it
they
could be
went for
once.
See why they went for Sunny D instead.
Yeah, the purple stuff. Ugh. Friend of mine had that. He turned into a little volcano.
Is that
Now-
a euphemism?
Kind of.
Do you try to like paint one to, a fair amount to sort of see if it looks good on that one, and then continue on with the rest?
Yeah, except when I get overconfident, like I did with my Dire Avengers, and I'm like, yeah, I can just batch paint all 10 of these at once. And then you get up to a certain step with one of them and realize not only is this not working, but it looks bad.
Right.
What were you going for?
I was going for, basically I did a, what is called a zenithal highlight, which is where you start with a base coat of like a dark color. And then over top of that, you airbrush or spray on lighter colors, but from higher and higher angles, so that it preserves like a top-down shadow effect.
Right.
To produce a white to black gradient across the model that like respects a light source from directly above. And then I did a side highlight of pink, just from one side of them, because I wanted the plan was over top of that I would airbrush a translucent blue, so that you would get a like all over they would be blue, but on just like the top of their shoulders and like certain highlights around their helmets and like maybe any place where it would catch the light particularly brightly, there would be like a purple shimmer to it. Mm-hmm. And it just did not work. I think the blue I chose was wrong. Because I wanted a especially translucent blue, I went with a what is called a contrast paint, which are the ones where you're supposed to just be able to brush them over like a white undercoat, and they are thin and they are translucent.
Yeah.
So they will sink into cracks, and you'll get deeper or more saturated colors in recesses and lighter colors on like top surfaces. Mm-hmm. And if you airbrush them on, and I did it at like atrociously high pressure from a distance, it will dry as it hits the miniature, basically.
Ooh, so it doesn't get a chance to do that.
Yeah, which I wanted. Like I didn't want it to pool.
Oh.
Because, I'd already taken care of that, but it just wasn't building up in a way I like. And I think the contrast paints are a little too glossy for my tastes. And I think the pink was also the wrong tone for what I was going for.
Right.
So I learned a lot, I think. But
they have to have a bath.
yeah, they have to have a bath, and then I'll come back to them and it will be better.
So in that case, like, that color scheme is something you still want to do. You just want to come up with a different way of executing it.
Yes, yes. I think the concept is strong, but it needs something else. It needs a little the zhuzh. The zhuzh?
Zhuzh.
Yeah. The effect just was not quite how I wanted to go. Or the effect I got was not the one I wanted. Like, I got it up to a certain step and was like, okay, I think these are okay. And then I took it a further step and realized that it was not going to evolve how I needed it to.
Right.
But I am excited to have my airbrush up and operational for all of the new Eldar models that are coming out.
Are they doing a big Eldar push right now?
Yeah, they've released new models for a bunch of the Phoenix Lords. Basically, like over the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, 6 or 7 years, they've refreshed basically the entire Eldar range, or Craft World Eldar range, with a couple of exceptions. And the new kits are really nice. They're really, really nice.
Just thinking about new Warp Spider models.
We did okay as a team.
Yeah.
We performed fine, I feel.
You got most of the questions right.
We got most of the questions
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's weird when people are like, well, Games Workshop is charging too much. They do. It's a luxury product. So I'm going to 3D print it with my ludicrously expensive 3D printer. That'll show them. And it's like, yeah, I guess. It's just, I don't know, weird to me that people, the behavior I see around it is that, like, no, I don't know.
Sticking it to the man.
Yeah.
It's also been such a long-term thing that it's, hard to continue to have feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or to feel required to.
Yeah. It's like, I don't actually think that this is some kind of praxis or anti-capitalist action, you know?
How does everyone feel about taking a break?
I think I'm for it.
All right. Then we're going to go maybe get water for beverage and then watch some commercials.
All right.
How do we feel, Paul?
This is how I feel.
Welcome back, everybody, to Can't Draw Horses Club. I'm Cori, that's Cameron, and we got Paul on tech. We're just chilling and chatting and painting little mans. I'm not really in a spot to show off what I'm doing, but I was going to try something I saw on the internet for the ground, to try like a rock
Oh,
looking thing,
okay.
which is apparently where you take just a wash of like red, yellow, and green.
Oh, I
and
should have.
spatter it around, and then, well, this is an opportunity for me to
Oh, to play around?
play around.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you like dry brush it white, and then ink it
Yeah.
with a brown. So
Cool.
yeah, so I'll be mucking around with that for a few minutes.
Is that like makes like a sort of a grassy,
It makes rock,
rocky grass thing?
gray rock.
Oh, gray rock. Oh.
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
not sure if I should keep using this brush. Yeah, I'll use the number 1. Yeah. You're working on your bird?
Yeah. I just wasn't happy with how he looked.
So you just want to go in and make his coloring more noticeable?
I mean, I think it's a weird space bird, is basically my thought on it. So I'm going to make it look a bit more artificial.
Space bird.
Oh, space bird, come back to me.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably like some kind of 70s psychedelic rock about this.
Yeah. Space bird, as seen in heavy metal.
Actually, there's a song I've been trying to find about a bird since high school, because it was, mislabeled MP3. And the only lyrics I remember is there's a blackbird and a place called Xanadu. And it's not the song Xanadu, all right?
Yeah.
No one is roller skating, no graffiti is coming to life. Like, it was a song. Maybe kind of disco rock, pop sounding. It would be on Eurovision, maybe.
Hey, Funk.
Ah, yes, the Pixel Savage. I'm just painting one of Cameron's bonus figs that he has donated to my cause of not assembling a whole army right now, or a whole kill team, or a battle squad patrol,
Combat Patrol,
combat patrol.
which is apparently not a very great game mode, but I appreciate the thought behind it.
Right?
That's like between a kill team and an army.
A Combat Patrol is... Games Workshop has been releasing box sets called Combat Patrols for years. And the idea with them is that they are supposed to be kind of like a get you started product. And with 10th edition Warhammer 40k, they came out with rules for fighting combat patrols against one another. So the idea was that each combat patrol should be roughly kind of the same sized, or same size of force, which is not true. So, it's a very cobbled together one. And the new combat patrols they're releasing are I probably assembled with that game mode in mind. They're kind of like precons, only they it is a game mode for a legacy product, a product that was already extant, that hadn't been designed with that game mode in mind. And some of them are, like, they're supposed to be around 500 points, but like the Adeptus Custodes one is something like 1,000 points.
Great.
So you only get to use like 2 units out of it. And like the Imperial Guard and Adeptus Mechanicus ones are like 300 points. So we'll give them a lot of special rules that don't necessarily reflect how the army works.
Oh,
So the actual game you're playing is more similar to the actual like army battle than Kill
Yes,
Team.
yeah, it's 40K but with a fixed army list.
Right.
And the list is, it hints to what a full army might be like. Right, like the Imperial Guard one, I think you can just use the ploy that lets the Imperial Guard return a destroyed unit to the battlefield for a cost, but it just gets rid of the cost, right? It's like, yeah, these guys are all going to die 6 times over the course of a game. And that is kind of like how that army functions, but maybe not to that extent, you know?
Right, because they were more balanced for the physical cost of the units as opposed to the ability of the units.
Yes.
It's like this is whatever, $70 worth of guys.
Yeah, and like some armies have always been more expensive to collect than others. Right, like Imperial Guard has always been a very expensive army because each of your little guys is terrible. So you need a lot of them. Whereas like armies like Adeptus Custodes, each guy is kind of an army into itself. And so they're relatively cheap to pull together. And yes, the Age of Sigmar Spearhead mode is the same idea, but it is the product of an additional, 18 months of game design. So it's much better.
I mean, I was impressed with the little bit we played of the Warcry mode, the sort of fantasy kill team.
Oh, yeah.
It was quite an interesting. I mean, there's questions about why they have 2 modes, two different things that are fulfilling the same general idea, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It did have a lot of it had some interesting things in it that made the game seem a lot smoother than Kill Team sometimes is.
Yes. I mean, I like Kill Team quite a lot because it's a very fiddly game. So if you like very fiddly rules, then it can kind of appeal to you.
I will say the amount, the experimenting we've done with the new Kill Team rules has definitely there's definitely been some good improvements there.
Yes, yeah. Kill Team 3, I think, is a big improvement over Kill Team 2. There are some balance issues that need to be addressed. Because there are some teams, or there is a class of teams that just kind of outperforms the other ones. And you can have very interesting games between, if everyone is playing the same kind of class of team.
right.
Like playing elites versus elites, great game. Playing non-elites versus other non-elites, also a great game. Playing non-elites versus elites, you're in for a rough time. You're in for an uphill battle.
Right.
Like you can win the games, but you might need to play extremely tight and also have the dice break in your favor a lot.
Ew.
So hopefully we get a balanced data slate soon. I am really looking forward to being able to play these guys, but I am also assembling Blades of Cain because I like playing underdogs. And apparently Blades of Cain are...
The most underdog?
Oh, they shouldn't be, is the thing.
Right.
They, fundamentally, you look at the team and you're like, everything here should work really well. Mm-hmm. And then you play them on the tabletop and apparently you just get rolled all the time.
So you want to take that because it's basically a challenge?
Yeah, I think it seems like an interesting challenge. One guy at the big tournament that happened last weekend, Las Vegas Open, did really well with them.
Okay. So, like, you now have an example that can be done.
Yes, yeah.
Are they also in Elder Army?
Yes, yeah, they are the Aspect Warrior list, which is like the Craft World Eldar's professional soldiers. So their thing is that you get 8 models and they each have 3 activations. Usually, if you have that many models, your models only have 2 activations.
Yeah, that's
So you get to do a lot of things. They're all extremely fragile for, like, you have a lot of actions, but your total number of wounds in your team is quite low. Like, you know, what would be a good counterexample? Say, like, Blooded, right? The Chaos Traitor Guardsman. You know, they're going to have like 12 7-wound models and then an Ogre, right? Who also has like 14 wounds or something. So 12, they would have like over 100 wounds in their army. The Blades of Cain would have 8 guys with 8 wounds each.
Yeah.
And then 1 guy with 9. So they would have 65 damage points across the entire list. But you get to do so many actions.
It's like I'm dying, but I'm making really good time.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But I'm doing so much with that. I think one of their big problems is that, like, they still only have 4 dice for their attacks, whereas Space Marines typically have 5.
Okay.
Like the dedicated melee operatives in an elite team will have 5 dice to throw.
Yeah.
And Eldar are only throwing 4, even with like Howling Banshees and Striking Scorpions. And it feels like with only 4 dice, you are going to need to... You need to hang in combat for longer than you want to.
Okay.
Right? Usually with somebody who is tougher or... like, it sucks to trade blows, basically, with Blades of Cain. It really sucks to be in a combat where you, like, roll 3 hits and your opponent rolls 3 hits, and you have to stand there being like, okay, I hit you and do 5 damage.
Right.
You hit me and do 5 damage. I hit you and do 5 damage. You hit me and do
My
5
die.
damage. My guy dies.
Yeah.
Yours is still fine.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, you need to, like, soften up your opponent before going in for a kill with a melee operative.
Okay.
But a lot of the elite teams have really off-the-chain healing abilities. Right? Like Warp Coven can just heal back up to full really easily. But then again, Warp Coven are probably due for a nerf. Honestly, I would love to see for Blades of Cain maybe not more dice or more damage, but something to do with group activation, so you could activate 2 models at a time, maybe once per turn.
Okay.
So you could, like, if they were of different aspects, you could, like, tag team someone if you were able to set it up correctly. But that might be, like, too good. Who can say? I'm not a game designer.
As players, all we can say is whatever they choose, if it nerfs the team that you want to play, it's wrong.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Not only is it wrong, but it is stealing from you, Paul.
How about we move this a little to the left?
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, my DIY wet palette is probably not extremely photogenic.
No, it's just in the way.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
your little man's right there
Right.
in your grippers.
I can't believe I forgot my painting handle.
Oh no. Did you want to use this one?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, though.
I do like the smooth action.
It's just nice to not have to worry about touching something you don't want to touch. I mean, in general, right?
In general, yeah. Yeah, I think we can all agree. Nice to not touch things.
Hate touching things.
Ugh, touch. Ugh.
Least favorite sense.
Really?
I mean, I guess it's worse to smell something you don't want to smell, and even worse to taste something you don't want to taste. But, like, touch is the one that I interact with the most.
Ah.
Where that happens the most.
It's taking up most of your time.
Mm-hmm.
It's greedy.
taste as bad, because if you're tasting something really bad, not only do you have to taste something really bad, but presumably you also have to like deal with the thing.
Yeah,
Like just a bad smell, you can just kind of leave or whatever.
yeah, you can walk away from, but a bad taste implies like an entire edifice.
It's like now, yeah. Is it better to swallow this thing
Yeah.
Ooh.
or spit it out or what? What circumstances brought me to the point where I am tasting this?
Yeah, that could happen every Loading Ready Live.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I do this? You ask yourself as you're live on camera with something bad? Question mark?
I still remember the time that I accused Ian of feeding me a mouse. I don't know why
It's
that.
like it was a candy coated tomato, wasn't it?
No, it was
or
a candy
kiwi.
kiwi.
It was the kiwi with
It
the
was a
the
caramel
fur.
coated kiwi.
Yeah, see, it makes sense. It makes sense when you say that it was furry.
But I was, in the moment, I was convinced he had fed me a mouse. I was in full-on fight or flight.
Don't mind me, just open up the Loading Ready Live suggestions document.
Feed Cameron mouse?
Question mark?
Live?
Fill this man with mice? Live mice?
Yeah, would you rather eat a live mouse or a dead mouse?
Accidental cannibal. Yeah, eating a dead mouse could get you arrested. There's a quote from Ian.
Ian fed me a mouse.
Yeah.
Because that's just like a quote without the sort of
No context?
without the the context and the surrounding piece. It's just we have to sort of just take that as something that happened.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, maybe it was like in a video game or something, but
It's up to our collective memory,
Yep. You want me to listen to the soft animal of my body? You mean the thing that's keeping the score?
Oh.
I mean, it was clearly a boneless mouse, right? If you bit into a kiwi and hit a crunchy structure on the inside, I think you could probably find the entire thing more defensible as an accusation or a headspace.
And yet,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Molly. Let the body keep the score. Let the body keep the score.
the body keep the score. Ow!
Ugh.
Ow, ow, ow.
I mean, I feel like you're saying the sort of fight or flight thing. Like I feel like the nuances, like different textures, are probably not being sort of processed. Because I mean, obviously, the other real cute point that would be noticeable would be that it tastes like a kiwi.
Yes, yeah. What if mice taste like kiwi, Paul?
That's why snakes love the taste of kiwi.
do they?
I don't know.
Why else
I've
would
never
they be in
found out.
trees?
I've never found out. I don't know, and I don't intend to find out. But what if they do, Paul?
Well, your reasoning is impeccable. I cannot argue.
Correct.
I think was it Eddie Izzard has a bit about like why are
There's so many.
why are seals so good with balls?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not a thing that they like do in their natural world.
Yeah.
Balance things on their nose, maybe, I don't know, but it's just like maybe there's all sorts of other animals that are good with things, but they haven't got an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, I remember reading a book called The Information, and in it he's like, okay, so dyslexia seems to be hereditary, right? Like, this is a trait that is passed on, that maybe just kind of goes undetected until we develop writing? Where does this come from? Like, how does this...
Right. Why
Yeah,
is
where
this?
does
Why
this-
are we carrying this around with us?
Yeah. Like, would there have been...
There were backwards dinosaurs.
Yeah, were there cave people who were like, man, Thog just can't read footprints,
Oh no.
right? And I, who know nothing about any of this, am like, oh, that is a really interesting question.
I do find, like, as somebody who is, I'm sort of usually in the sort of technological world and stuff, progression of sort of technology is fairly, straightforward. Discoveries are made and people build on previous things and all this stuff. But I'm always fascinated by the progression of art. Like the idea that people kind of figured out perspective.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
stuff, and it's like why would that? It's like why does that take? It's not, it's not like you have to sort of do research or discover a new element like you do in a sort of scientific endeavor. But it still takes the time to sort of, you have to look at what other people are doing and evolve. It still took all sorts of time to evolve this idea of like people drawing things that actually looked like the thing that you're drawing.
Right, yeah. And then that kind of like disappeared for, I guess, stylistic reasons in Europe in the Middle Ages. Or maybe just skill-based reasons. And you get like a hyper-stylized drawing, or maybe that's just the one kind of drawing that was preserved.
Right, yeah.
Like, we're the only people doing, like, preserved art, people who couldn't draw a cat. But yeah, like writing, I guess, symbolic language has been with us for a really long time.
In the sort of the transition from, like what do they call it? Is it like a lexicographic language?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like from a language, from a thing where all the symbols are actually symbolizing particular things.
Yes.
To a language where the symbols are just making noises.
Yeah, phonographic to
I don't know. But that's a big like jump, and I think in Egyptian writings and stuff they have because they have like both versions, and depending on what the purpose of the writing was, they would use different types, and of course over thousands of years.
Yeah, well, hard to do long division with hieroglyphics, Or maybe it wasn't.
Hard to do. I mean, hard to do long division with Roman numerals.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the way we do it.
Yet clearly they must have. They built arches.
Mm.
It was just vibes.
Maybe.
Yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah.
Maybe an arch is just a structure you can build without long division.
Have we tried?
Maybe everything they built was really over-engineered. Or maybe the only structures that survived were the really over-engineered ones.
Right, of course, that's the tricky one. And our window into a lot of this historical stuff is limited by what was actually preserved,
Mm-hmm.
what survived.
What survived World War II?
Yeah, not only survived the sort of ravages of time, but also the ravages of people just being assholes. I feel like they've gone away from the Eldar, like, the old style Eldar with like they sort of had those the big sort of cone head helmets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've tried to...
with the like mohawk on it and stuff.
Well, I mean, like, I've got those models at home right now. Those are the Dire Avengers I was painting up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I like that they've actually done a pretty good job of both and also in like Space Marines and stuff of sort of like they still sort of have that look to them, but they look a lot more.
Yeah, like the proportioning has gotten a lot better. But there actually is like an old piece of artwork from Rogue Trader showing Eldar Corsairs, and they're all just kind of like hanging out on the side of a ship during a space battle. And this model is one of them. Like that, this guy here is there. It's really like that. This kit is kind of an homage to some very old artwork. It's really like, I don't know, it's nice.
I mean, in some ways, it's that thing. It's sort of like with video games, right? Where like, I like to think that like the modern era of video games was once the video game could actually match the box art.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing where it's like the advances in production and modeling and all the different things make it so that the models of the characters can actually match the concept art now, as opposed to sort of being more kind of fat rounded versions of
Yeah,
the
like
concept art.
Impressions of the concept art.
So it's like this is what they were always intended to look like, but they just couldn't do it properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it called? The memory upcycling or upsampling? Nostalgia upsampling?
Oh, like video games.
Yeah, where you...
Right, where they do the remaster and you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it always looked like this.
Or like you go back to play like original Final Fantasy VII, it's just like, oh, I'm getting stabbed in the eyes.
Yep. Also, this gameplay is atrocious.
Well, maybe not, but
Or, yeah, Cobalt Shrinking in the chat says the discrepancy in quality between cutscenes and actual gameplay gets more and more narrows. Till now, I mean, now it's just more like the camera angles and stuff as opposed to actually swapping in better models for everybody.
Yeah, like there's actually a lot of filming techniques that are relevant to how good your cutscenes look now.
But it isn't, I mean, literally, I mean, first it was actually just like straight up pre-rendered.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah.
And then it went to actually, they were just, you have much more detailed, completely different models.
Or do you remember full action video or full motion video? Like Wing Commander 3?
Oh, yeah.
space.
That was the good stuff. I mean, they still use that for some stuff.
Do they?
I mean, well, just, for when it's appropriate for that sort of circumstance.
Like the Senua games use it, the Hellblade ones.
Oh.
The Control used it.
Oh, yeah, of
right?
course,
So
Control
I think
used it.
Alan Wake 2 uses it.
Yeah, of course.
Journey to the Savage Planet. I remember I played that not too long ago, and all the sort of messages from your the whatever big corporation that's messing with you are all like ads and stuff that are done in live action.
But yeah, you're completely right. I had forgotten all about Control, which uses it delightfully. Easily the best part of the game. Man, Control makes me so sad because like the vibe was excellent and the like everything about the game was so good except for the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
If you play Control, it's going to be a great time except for all the time that you have to just play it on super whatever the easiest mode is.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the sequel.
Are they working on that now?
Yep.
Yeah, I played Control on stream, and I mostly enjoyed it and stuff. The biggest problem I had with playing it on stream though was the jukebox levels. Did you ever play any of those?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
We looked at them, like we loaded them up.
Oh, I must be thinking of something else.
There's tokens you get, and then you go to these arena battles.
But they're timed with the music, and if you have it on streaming mode so it doesn't play copyright music, it just doesn't play the music that you're supposed to be timing to. So it's like I was just like going around doing stuff, and then it just ended, and I was like, wait, what happened?
Yep.
It's like, oh, right.
Perfect.
How's your base coming there, Cori?
I think I'm just waiting for it to dry so I can do the dry brushing on it.
The rocky sort of granite.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So it's kind of a dappled look
Oh, nice.
with the colors underneath.
It's that thing of like rock. It's gray, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is not.
Yeah.
Rock has many colors.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him like kind of a browny red hair. And he'll look like Mr. Tumnus.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, like Remedy always just has the best musical sections in their game. Sometimes, like, they're also the only studio I've ever seen do a good needle drop, which was in the first Alan Wake game after the first chapter. It just like the credits hit and it starts playing In Dreams by Roy Orbison,
Right.
and it just like it lands. It's perfect.
I'm trying to think if there's other games with a great that aren't like rhythm games or something. Snake Eater, yeah. That
Oh, what do they do in Snake Eater?
the song Snake Eater?
Oh,
Oh, so you start climbing this really tall ladder, and the song plays while you're climbing the ladder, and if you time it, if you don't stop like climbing the ladder, it ends as you hit the top.
oh, really?
It's just a very long ladder.
Huh. But it's kind of like a title sequence, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you have like full control, but you actually have to like continue to climb the ladder. You should watch the video sometimes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Doom, when the Doom music hits,
Yeah.
that was pretty sweet.
Doom did such a good job of making you feel like you were 15 feet tall the entire time. Like you were just like a stupendous badass while you were playing that game. Or a stupendous dumbass. I don't know, one of the two, right?
Just the biggest ass.
Yeah. Supple yet sturdy.
Very
Like a-
powerful. Like you can platform, you can get up ledges, you can vault, you can like Goomba stomp.
Yep.
Commissioned to add ground pound to Doom. Saints Row 4 did make me laugh.
Yeah, yeah. It was cute.
I mean, Brutal Legend had a lot of good stuff. I mean, that was sort of part of its.
Oh,
shtick,
the rock
but
game.
Yeah.
I never played.
It wasn't what everyone sort of thought it was, kind of hoped it would be. Ended up being this sort of weird
Kind of
RTS game.
Oh, so it wasn't just a like brawler.
Yeah, if it had just been like a run around and smash things as Jack Black or whatever, it probably would have been better. But you kept getting into going into these sort of, you've had these sort of sequences where you're basically doing RTS stuff where you have to like run around and get a bunch of units together and go off and do things, and it was a kind of poorly implemented. But it does have a whole sequence that's timed out to the Fire and the Flames, which is pretty amazing.
Nice. I just like the one in Alan Wake because it's a song I associate with Blue Velvet.
Alan Wake also has like the like rock concert where you're setting off the lights to.
Oh yeah, in Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
That's an Alan Wake 1, I think.
Is it?
Where you're setting off lights? Because you don't
okay.
control the lights in 2.
Oh,
They
okay.
just kind of happen.
Yeah, in Alan Wake 1, it's a whole sort of sequence where there's a bunch of nasty guys coming at you, and you have to set off the lights and stuff. But the guy's like doing a rock concert at the same time.
Cool.
It's pretty dope. I guess fireworks maybe.
You looking forward to the PPR?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's always good to see Shivam,
Oh yeah.
and I like playing with magic cards,
Okay.
in spite of the experience I have most of the time when I play magic cards. I like meeting new people. Maybe I shouldn't say I like playing with magic cards. I like playing with magic cards that other people aren't allowed to play with.
Fresh.
I get to play with these, and you don't. Isn't that nice? Thanks for asking. It is.
Well, I hope you have fun with them then.
I will. I hope to, at least. One day I hope to go back to a magic event.
It could happen.
Yeah. I don't know what it would take to get me through the door into a place in the United States right now, but maybe a bayonet.
Like they hand you one? Like, get in there.
Or they just prod me with one.
Oh. So, you can be coerced.
I can be coerced for shockingly cheaply, by the way. Not only do I have my price, but it's very reasonable. The Cameron Lauder guarantee is that I will sell out as hard as possible given the first opportunity. I have zero integrity.
How much could a bayonet cost, right?
Yeah.
How much could a bayonet possibly cost? $60? I think the white looks weird.
Oh?
Yeah. Well, I can. Yeah. Does that work, Paul?
Oh, I like that though. I mean, I think that's really, really great. Like, that concept is strong.
If you push the
Box out of the way?
box out of the way a little bit.
Okay.
you can-
Yeah, I can actually put it actually in the shot. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think that's really striking.
Okay. I'll keep going then. Although it is time
Is it?
for that another break.
Oh. Well, here's what I've managed to get done.
Birdman. I think that looks really good.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you really adding that light colored shading on the bird.
Yeah,
That really gives it a lot of detail.
there. That's a bit more visible. I could clean it up a bit. But I think that I'm a lot happier with that than I was with the previous version.
Neat.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to step away for a few minutes, grab some water, and be back in a few. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Me and Cameron are painting minis with Paul on tech. So we're just going to go for another 20 or so minutes so that Paul can get set up for the next stream.
Yeah.
I might not actually be able to stop after this.
You found a groove?
Well, it's more that I don't want to leave it in a bad state,
Okay.
right? But I'm going to try dry brushing the base now, and I'm going to use paper towel because I don't want to ruin a brush.
Reasonable.
I might even, I don't know, stick this on the handle of a brush.
Okay.
But just got to get a teeny bit of paint on this sucker. Oh, that's too much, way too much. Get out of here. Get out of here, you. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Do you typically listen to music while you do painting?
Usually, yeah. Although now it is mainly a nostalgia trip for me
Oh,
because I listen to stuff that I've always listened to while I paint.
right.
So it's always kind of like the same late 90s, early 2000s era music.
Right.
Like the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack was something that I listened to a
what?
lot in high school while painting miniatures. So now Pretty Piece of Flesh is just something that I kind of enjoy grooving out to while painting. Or, from a slightly later era, In Flames, the Swedish metal group,
Okay.
which was something I had friends who really liked them. So, I guess Come Clarity was the album of choice at that era. What else? Lots of old VNV Nation.
Some of that Big Shiny Tunes.
I was never a big Shiny Tunes guy. I had taste in music.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Nobody tell James, he would be sad. What else? Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile was a big one in that era for me.
Is that before or after Teeth?
That was before With a Teeth. And Trent's going on tour again this summer.
Ooh.
I'm going to try and see Trent.
I'm here to see Trent.
I still love that clip of him at a live show, getting up on stage and being like, all right, who's here to have a good time? And the crowd cheers, and he's like, well, wrong fucking show.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was the opening act. We're here to feel bad. And the crowd went nuts.
All right, I had a little too much activity between my man's legs. He popped off.
Oh, yeah, relatable. That be how it do.
Sorry. Sorry, little mans, but now I can finish the work.
Oh. In his defense, he hasn't put his loincloth on yet.
That's true. Maybe I should do that. At least Cameron brought poison. Tell me extra thin cement. Get that extra thin.
Yeah.
Just put it back where it was. There you go, little fella. The vapors.
Did you see the video that was going around last week of the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier
No.
in the United States? And it's just like, it's a very reverent procedure where like army men are like walking very smoothly and precisely with no
What
like
music did they set it
extraneous
to?
motion. Well, it was just like this thing where he like, takes up the rifle and like pans his head left and right and then like rotates it very slowly, and somebody replied to it with like, me when I've hit the dab pen 21 times, then remember I need to go to the grocery store. And that is also the experience of painting miniatures. Hi, Graham.
Ignore him! He's just passing through. Merely a traveler. Chad says hi.
Hi.
All right, well, while he's adhering, we can kind of judge how the attempt went on the stone base. It did not exactly as I wanted, but you know.
I think it looks nice.
Is the sculpt also, he's sort of standing on little rocks or
Yeah.
on a rock, so that kind of fits too. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I tried it.
the so-called tactical rock.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get like the Captain Morgan thing, or you can issue commands.
He carries around the rock with him, so to put it down wherever he wants to stand.
Please. He's got a rock guy.
You say that like a joke, but there were actually old dwarven rules for Warhammer Fantasy Battles where they had something called an oath stone, where they could like, you would equip them with it, pay points for it, and they would slam it down on the ground and stand on it. Mm-hmm. And it made them very difficult to shift off that position.
They've become one with the rock.
They were just like, this is ours now.
It's like I forget who it is. One of the big Space Marine. I think it's one of the Primarchs that has the little hooded guys.
Oh yeah, the Watchers in the Dark for the Dark Angels.
Yeah, and there's like there's like the champion, and then there's this little guy who holds his helmet.
Yep.
And the rules are like, you can't target him. He can't do anything. He just follows him around. He cannot be hurt. He'll disappear when the guy, if he dies or leaves the battlefield. It's
Yeah.
like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just a little guy.
It's
it doesn't
just
do anything.
It's just there for fun. Don't try to kill him.
In the new Eldar rules, they've, for a couple of years now, Eldar, Craft World Eldar kits and Dark Eldar kits have come with little shrines that you could like glue onto bases, and they were just like a little piece of scenery. Isn't that nice? They gave you a little extra thing. And the new people were like, well, what are these for? What do they do? Like, and the answer was always, it's just an extra little thing. It's cute. And the new book has rules for them where you use them as counters for an ability. So like for every 5 models, you can include a shrine with them that moves with them. It doesn't like affect anything, but when you use the squad's ability, you remove the shrine.
Yeah. Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Which I think they borrowed from Sisters of Battle, who had the little servo skulls or cherubs following them around. Mm-hmm. And those were also used as just kind of like a counter, right? Or an accounting tool.
Which I feel is very either that's within the context of the game, but even in the real world of 40K, just having flying skulls following you around in order to count things.
Yes, yeah.
Is very much in keeping with the setting.
Mm-hmm. He's not completely attached to his base, but just trying to do a little bit of cleanup before the end of stream. How's your little man?
I think it's coming along all right. I'm not fully sold on what I've done here today, but I think it's an improvement over what I had.
Right.
I think I can work with this.
Are there any other sort of pain points on these miniatures do you want to fix before you would consider them to be sort of done?
No, it's mainly just the way the black has gone down on them that I'm not thrilled with.
So there's like a couple of their weapons and stuff too, eh?
Yeah. Like, otherwise I'm extremely happy with them. I think they could be a bit cleaner, but that's not something I'm going to be able to fix at this point.
I mean, you've definitely given yourself a task, like, shading black and highlighting white is like the two hardest things.
Yeah. So, like, I think this guy looks all right on camera. When I get up close to him, I am less convinced.
I mean, yeah, it looks pretty darn good. I mean, you have to get real close to get closer than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way with the white armor and everything, it really makes the cape kind of the
focal point.
The focal point, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with them, and I think that's a good place to be with your own work, where you're like, yeah, I like how this is turning out. I think I could do better. But I'm not mad about it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's also it's like, I think I could do better and I will on the next model.
Yes.
There's only so long that you can kind of futz over one guy.
Yeah, where, there. The focal plane on this camera's narrower than I thought.
Yeah, it's quite sharp.
Yeah, when it's
Yeah.
zoomed in all the way like it is there, it's quite narrow. Oh yeah, that's nice. And yeah, the definition on the bird is definitely a lot stronger now.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I think this looks more black than black.
Oh, here we go.
There. There's my little man's.
Rawr.
He's kind of, basically the colors are kind of just blocked out.
I like, I like what you were going with the color scheme.
Yeah, I think this is a very strong concept.
I don't know if I've seen like sheep that color, but definitely like, I don't know, big sort of
Big animals.
like a yak or something.
Yeah. Lots of ungulates.
It's got a little bit of like Beast Man from like He-Man.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Yeah.
And he cries.
Oh my God, oh my God. All the time.
In my institution.
All right. Is this a good time to pack it in?
I think so.
All right.
All right. Yeah, let's wrap her up.
Then, thank you all for being here today. If you want to support the channel, you can do that at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Say hi in the comments if you're on YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
Cameron, where
Yes?
can people find you?
I'm on Blue Sky at unarmedoracle.bluesky.com. Is that it? Is it social.bluesky?
Bisky.social.
Bisky.social. Thank you, Graham.
No problem.
And I'm also on Twitch on my own stream at twitch.com/unarmedoracle.
TV.
TV. They must certainly have bought twitch.com by now. Did they? Don't look that up. It's probably hardcore pornography.
We can .com. Paul, do you have a place you want people to go see?
I just want people to stay here mostly.
All right.
Yeah.
You can find Paul on loadingreadyrun.com.
Anything I'm doing is probably going to be here.
And I'll be here not all at all of February. No horse February.
Horseless February.
It's a new movement we're trying to push forward. No horse February.
For the month of February, horses just don't exist.
Yeah, give up.
Horse nothing February.
Give up horses for the month of February.
All right, not Kane nor Abel says.com redirects to TV.
Okay. I'm going to choose to believe that.
I'm going to choose to believe that without checking. Yes. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for being here.